Dan, finally here's the Packers video. I realized that in the 2 weeks since Duncan and I went to the game, I couldn't figure out why it was taking me so long to put this video together. And I realized this because I wasn't really sure what it was about. In reviewing all the video and thinking back on the experience, it was not about football, but it was about Wisconsin, it was about Green Bay, and it was about the Packers. But more importantly, it was about Polka. Hey Dan, we're on our way to the Packers game. I'm going through itty bitty towns in Wisconsin. I'm somewhat lost, and the only radio station I can get is playing Polka. Here, listen. So I didn't realize it at the time, but Polka on the radio, in fact only Polka on the radio, meant much more than I ever suspected. I think that's why Duncan was asleep. In fact, he wasn't asleep. He was rendered unconscious by the polka gods. Hey Dan, still lost. Still can only get the polka though. It's starting to lose the signal, which I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. Dan, still lost. Still can only get WHTL Heartland Radio. All they're playing is tuba and accordion. I think it's following me. I'm near Osseo now. Hopefully I'll find my way out soon. So it was readily apparent I wasn't lost. I was in fact being found. Found by a high power, a higher polka, a greater meaning in life. But the real test was coming. Oh yes, it was coming. Okay, that's a good sign. I think we're back in it. I got NPR on the radio, and a sign that says Green Bay. Woo! I thought I was back in it. I thought I was on the road. I was on the road to hardship. I was on the road to struggle and to test. It had started to snow. I took it as a good sign. A Christmassy sign. A sign of the Packers' blessing. I learned differently. Now for the most mystical part of my trip. Duncan was asleep. I was in a surreal, half-wake, half-dreaming state. And I came up over a knoll. And I came down into a small valley. Somewhere between Whitehall and Osseo. To my left, in the early morning light, there was a small brown house. It was beautiful. It was adorned with Christmas lights, set in among the fir trees in a small clearing. It was perfect. It was serene. It was calm. And next to it was a sign that said, WHTL, the Heartland, 102.7. What could it be? I tuned in, and it was Polka. Dan, this is the fourth accident we've seen in the last 10 minutes. We're about an hour from Green Bay. I think that there's a higher power at work here. Crossing your fingers as if that, in and of itself, could keep away the wrath of God. I thought they were keeping me away from Green Bay. I thought that's what was going on. But no. They were keeping me away from the polka. Yeah, from out of nowhere, the snow has started again. It's brutal, it's heavy. Will we ever get to Green Bay? Ah! So we've made it, Dan. You can see the lights in the distance. The crowds streaming in from all directions. There's Lambo in the distance. Hold up, hold up. And there we were, thinking we had made it, and we were that close to being run over by the minions of the dark SUV. But we lived. Alright, finally you can see it. And what's even better, we picked up some souvenirs. Now we're real Packers fans. Yeah, right. And after all that, as if that wasn't enough, the lore, the history, the third quarter ended. And while I was ready to break for the bathroom, a song began, first softly, but then it gained momentum and it gained in volume. It was a polka! The beer barrel polka! And the jumbotrons in high def started playing a video with the lyrics and a bouncing red ball. And everyone started singing, "Roll out the barrel! Where but in Wisconsin? Where but in Green Bay can one do this?" Only in Green Bay can you do the polka at the football game. So we realized after this all, after the drive, after the struggle to get there, it wasn't about football. It wasn't about bratwursts. Okay, a little about bratwurst. But it was about polka. It was about the accordion, the tuba, bringing people together. We learned that, and we are now a part of Packer fandom and of the Heartland lore. Signing off.